Okay, welcome. Sharon's on. I don't know who else is on or who will watch this video later, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So I have my supplies here. Okay, so I've got around 6 and around 4 brush. If all you have is one round brush, should be fine. I also have different colors, watercolors in the palette here, just kind of the colors of the rainbow. I have a blue, gray, purple, pink, red, orange, yellow, and green. I have 2 cups of water, one for rinsing my brush and one for fresh water. And then I have our 2 templates here. So can you zoom in over here? Here's the first template of the jar, and this is where we're going to kind of paint and release the negative emotions in this one. And then here's the template for the forest lake. So we're going to start with the jar, and then we'll do something similar to this, but everyone's jar is going to look a little different because you're releasing whatever energy and emotions you want to get out. And then the forest lake is going to look similar to this. My forest lake will not look exactly the same as this, and your forest lake will not look exactly the same, and that's okay because you're the artist. You're just kind of expressing yourself through your art. So I'm going to tape this one down, and then we will get started on painting this. Okay, and this is optional. You don't have to tape it down. It's just easier because then it doesn't move. Okay, so I'm going to tune in here to the energy of everyone who's participating or will be participating. And I'm just going to kind of name some emotions that are coming up that need to be cleared as I feel them. Okay, so I'm definitely feeling like some nervousness and worry and self-doubt, like creative insecurity. I can't do this. This is too hard. I can't paint. I won't be good at this. So just breathe that out. And we're going to start painting that out too. Okay, so get some water on your brush. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of get in some different streaks. You're just going to put some water on the paper. Those are going to turn into different colors, and it's okay that they run together.
Corey, can you get closer? I can't see what she's doing very well.
Let's see.
So yeah, and I'm just putting water down so you won't really be able to see much yet. But you're just kind of, taking the strokes of water out of your, as if they're exploding out, and that is your release of that energy that I can't paint, I'm not good at this, I won't do a good job, that worry and nervousness. I'm just gonna let that out. I can also feel some stress, like, just some overwhelm, and we're gonna try and clear that too. Also, we're filling in the inside of the jar. You can fill in the tag, it's fine. Just the whole inside of the jar. And it's all right if you go a little bit outside the lines, that's fine. Okay, just getting some water down. It's easier to spread your paints. Okay, so let me just tune in here. And you can start with whatever color feels good for you. I feel like I need to start with a blue because I'm feeling sort of a depression, like a blue feeling here. So I'm going to start with a blue, and I'm just going to drop that in, and you can see how it spreads because I already put the water down. We're releasing that feeling of depression and, I don't know, yuckiness, blueness. Okay. All right. I'm also feeling some anger, so I'm going to put in some of that. Just drawing that out. Get rid of that anger. Okay. And again, it's okay if it spills out of the jar because this is just kind of a release and like throwing things away we don't need. It's fine. Okay. I feel like putting in some orange. I'm gonna do that next. I feel like this orange represents like personal power and like kind of a fear to be ourselves and have, you know, just allow that flow of who we really are. So let's spread that around. We need more confidence in who we are. Okay. So, all right. Let's put in a little yellow here for happiness. We need that. We need happiness. Okay. And I'm gonna do some purple. And I feel like the purple is representing some like confusion and sadness and some like darker emotions going on. So I'll just put that purple in here. And some water. Just letting all this stuff go so we can fill up our next painting with beauty, creativity, satisfaction. Okay, I'm feeling some hurt and grief and like unsupported. Like people don't appreciate me. People don't feel what I'm or appreciate what I'm giving to them. Okay, so I'm going to represent that with some green. And what's sort of a lighter green, which gives us a more like vibrant, like it's okay. I'm choosing health anyways. Happiness, I'm gonna rejuvenate. Add some green down here at the base and make it kind of grow upward. We want that open. Okay. So take a couple deep breaths. Let's see if there's anything else that needs to release. There's some blaming and some like pride in the sense of like not wanting to accept like this isn't my fault. That's kind of what I'm hearing. It's like this isn't my fault. I can't change what's going on in my life. So that's an emotion, but also a belief that we need to release and clear. Yeah, a lack of control and a fear of not being in control. Okay. I'm feeling some more like that control really like needs more red because I'm feeling it. Let's get that need for control out. Okay. There's some more beliefs coming. I don't deserve to enjoy life. Okay. Go ahead and breathe that out. Life is miserable. That's not a fun belief. I'm gonna just flick some paint here. And we're gonna release that. I know I should be happy, but I'm not. Okay, let's release that too. I'm gonna do that with some blue. Just flicking, just taking some water and some color and flicking it on. Here's a belief. I have to suffer. I'll be blessed for my suffering. So let's get that out too. We do not have to suffer. Okay. There's a belief like I wish I could be happy. I wish I could have joy. We're gonna click on some yellow. We can be happy, we can have joy. And let's see. My life is like out of my hands. Like what happens to me happens to me. Sort of a victim mentality. So we're gonna flick that up too. I'm doing it with orange, but you can do it with whatever color feels good to you. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Okay, so there's like a, this is dumb, this isn't gonna make a difference. Why am I doing this? So let's see. Just gonna use pink for that. Okay. Breathe all that out. Okay. I think that is, it's good. I'm just going to wipe up these spots. I'll wash them off later. Okay. All right. So, deep breaths. We are going to, we're going to move this. So I'm just going to take the tape off carefully. This is not dry yet, so I'm just going to move it, you know, out of the way, someplace where it can dry. And once it's dry, we're going to outline the jar with like a black pen. Or really whatever color pen you want, but I'm going to do mine with a black pen. Okay. Deep breathing. Release those. We now get to install positive, happy beliefs and emotions as we paint this forest lake. Okay, so I'm going to tape down my forest lake. So if you have your traced template of the forest lake, go ahead and get that one out and ready. And if you need to pause or you need me to slow down, let me know. I'm going to go all the way around the edges on this one. Okay, and now I traced my sun just a little darker than I want it because I'm using a yellow for that sun, the setting sun, and so I'm going to erase it so that it's really light. And if you feel like yours is pretty dark, go ahead and erase it so you can just barely see that, because when we fill it in with yellow, you know, it's watercolor, so it's transparent. The trees and stuff, they're going to be dark anyway, so that's fine. But that sun is not going to be. Okay, so I'm just going to use this as my reference photo. So the first thing we're going to do here, switching my glasses. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is get like the reflection, like the lake wet, and then we're going to do the sun and the reflection of the sun, and then we're going to do the darker stuff. So in watercolor, you want to do all your light things first, and then you do the details on the darker stuff. So we're going to do the lake and the light sun reflecting there, and then the sunset behind the trees and stuff. And then we'll layer up the other, the trees, the leaves, the foliage, all that. Okay, so I actually kind of muddied up my yellow, so I'm going to grab some more yellow because I need a more sunshiny yellow in here. Okay. All right, so if you have a nice bright yellow, go ahead and just put some water in that circle for the sun. It's okay if it goes, you know, a little bit outside, but we want the darkest of the yellow right there in the center for the sun. Okay, and then you can take some of the yellow and drop that in. And this is going to represent the happiness and joy that should be the center of our lives. So this is representing Christ's love, peace, happiness that we can and should be feeling. So just go ahead and breathe in, smile, and enjoy that feeling of peace. Okay, I'm going to take just water. I'm going to go kind of around that big sunny area, and it's okay that the yellow is going to start spreading a little bit. So that's what I want. It's just a lighter spreading yellow around that sun. And it's a little dark around here for me, so I'm just going to dab it off with my tissue, and that's okay. Okay, then I'm going to take that down into the lake as the reflection right here. Okay, and it's going off just slightly to the left side of the page. Okay. All right, so again, that darkest center. In fact, I'm going to take a tiny little bit of orange, darken that sun just a little in the middle. There we go. Okay, so breathe in that positive, I am joy, I feel joy, I feel God's love for me, I am love, I am peace and happiness. Breathe that in. Okay, we're gonna take some clear water and go ahead and just get the rest of the lake wet. So we're gonna put some color down in the lake. And then we're gonna do the sky. And this color we're going to put in is going to be some purples, pinks, and blues. And those are representing our feelings of acceptance and love, feeling comforted and needed, wanted. Okay. We can go ahead and get the other side of the lake wet too, and then we'll drop in some of those colors. Okay. All right. So, taking some blue for feeling peace, we're gonna actually just, don't want it to be super dark blue. So, just pretty light. We're gonna dab that in, just kind of over here. We're going to use a little bit of this gray. If you have a gray or kind of a navy blue, go ahead and grab that too. That's our calming, peaceful feelings. Okay. Just a little bit of purple. Okay, yeah, that's pretty light. And we're gonna go around all that. Oop, that might be pretty dark, so I'm gonna add some more water. There we go. Just go ahead and spread that around the lake. Okay, and this is just a wash because we're going to be doing the sunset in the sky, and that's going to reflect in the lake. So we just want a really light wash so that we can kind of reflect the colors that are in the sunset onto the lake. So we don't want a heavy bunch of colors in the lake yet. Okay, so a new belief that's coming up that needs to be installed for us is I am safe to create. I am safe to be me. It is safe to express myself. Okay, I'm going to get a tiny bit of pink and put it over here. Okay, there's our wash, there's our lake for now. We'll do more on it later. All right, moving up in the sky, we're going to do the yellow splotches where the sun's kind of still shining through the clouds. So over here in the corner, behind these trees, we're going to get that wet and we're going to put in some yellow there. There's actually a couple spots of yellow kind of behind the trees. That's okay, put them wherever you want. Just a couple spots of yellow. You don't have to be exactly where my spots are. Okay, and then some yellow breaking through the clouds here. And this is all just water right now, so you can't really see it. Okay, and it's gonna go almost down, but there's kind of a strip of a cloud in between the sun setting and where it's still shining up in the sky. Connects into the trees there. However you want to make your sun setting. And there's a little yellow over here. Okay. All right, okay. So now take just a little bit light yellow and just fill in all those places. And breathe in some confidence and peace and joy. As we look at that yellow and start to kind of feel that yellow. Embracing the happiness. Okay, we're going to install a belief. I am meant to be happy. Happiness is a part of my life. I am happy. I feel happy. Okay. Add a little more yellow over in these areas. And we got wet up here. Might need a little more water. Kind of dried off. So I'm just adding more water before I add more yellow. Okay. Okay, and a tiny bit of yellow over here. And that's too bright, so I'm dabbing that one off. All right. Okay, so we're gonna kind of let that dry for a second. We're gonna move on to some of the pinks and purples that are in the sky. And the pink is going to represent gratitude. So I'm feeling some emotions of gratitude and emotions of like comfort and appreciation. So breathe that in and grab a tiny bit of pink, just a little bit, because we don't want it to be real dark. Okay, and right over in this section, we're going to add in a lot of pink. So a lot of water, and then some pink. Here. Just light pink. And grab some more water to spread that pink out all around in the sky. Okay, spreading out that love and gratitude, comfort, appreciation. Okay. Okay, then we're gonna just put some water down and add in some purple in just a minute. I'm gonna go around back here and drop in a bunch of light purple. And the light purple is going to help us install some feelings of like kind of the opposite of overwhelm. So just like, okay, I have the support I need. I have the things that I need to accomplish what I'm called to accomplish. I can let go of things that aren't needed. Expectations I've put on myself or that others have put on me that aren't honoring me. We're gonna breathe those out and we're gonna install some feelings of confidence and happiness with a little bit of light purple here. Okay, so we're just gonna put that purple around here behind the trees. Ooh, that's way too dark. It's okay. Get more water. Spread that out. If you ever put on too dark of colors, that is what water and your paper towel are for. Just for dabbing off. Oops, I dipped my brush a little deeper than I thought. It's okay. It happens. And just accept that and don't beat yourself up. All right. What happens, happens. You don't have to judge it, good or bad. Okay. Get a little more purple here. Add that in. Okay. Now up in this corner, we're going to add just a little bit of darker purple and gray, as if it's kind of darkening there. This is going to kind of represent like that there's always going to be opposition and difficulty. That's okay. We can overcome that, and it can still add some dynamic elements to our lives, and we can appreciate even the negative things in our lives, because then we can appreciate the good positive things in our lives even more. So go ahead and put in some of that gray or darker navy, whatever color you have, that can kind of represent the opposition that we're going to experience no matter what. I'm going to get that really watered down here. And dab some of it off. That's okay. And then mix it together. Down into the painting. So, okay. And a little bit of it over on this side too. Like it's trying to come in and encroach on our joy, but it's all right. Our happiness and self-confidence is stronger. Okay, so let's put the color off in there. All right. So what we're going to do now is some of the greenery down here. And then we're going to do the stems on the trees. They're still going to dry, so let's do some of the greenery first. Green represents, to me, health, vitality, wellness, that just those positive growing, the heart chakra is green, right? So there's just all that goodness going on that's increasing, and it's life. So we're going to put some green. I'm actually going to add a little bit of gray to the green to make it a little bit darker green, because this is for kind of like a sprucey wooded area. Okay, so we'll do some darker green there. That's my brush, and then I'm going to put some water down just on these little hills. And right above the pencil line, where we have like, can you zoom in, cameraman? So I just want to show this. So just above the pencil line, we're going to leave a little bit of white, almost like there's a little beach there. You can see it kind of here. So go ahead and leave just a little bit of white there on the edge, on both sides. So just above the pencil line, not a lot. And it's okay if you have, more or less. It's your painting. Okay, this green kind of goes up into the forest a lot, and there's even, it's kind of a little hill back here, which is, it starts the base of green, but there will be some purple over the top. That's okay, because we're just doing a green wash behind all these trees in the forest here. And a little bit of a grayish blue back here. It's kind of like there's some extra darker shade of mountain behind, so that gives it some dimension. All right, and a little bit more green here. Okay, and then we're also going to take, and we're going to reflect that in the water. So take some of that green, that life, and heart, and growth, and just put that just under the line so that you have that reflection. So again, leaving that white line of kind of beachfront there. Okay. And just kind of reflecting the same shape in the lake as those little hills there. Okay, and the same on the other side. Some green here. And it's going to kind of fade because that sun is kind of washing that out. So you're not going to see a real dark line there. It's going to go kind of uphill here. Reflecting that little hill in the lake. Okay, and then we have the dark gray hill back here. Reflecting as well. Okay. So as that is kind of drying there, we're going to go ahead and do some of the outlines of the trees. Okay, so switch to your smaller brush if you have one, or just use like the fine tip of your bigger round brush, whatever you have, and take the dark gray and mix it with the green so you get an even darker green. There we go. And then we're just going to, with a pretty dark line, we're going to do the outline of these trees. Okay. You don't really want them very much thicker than the pencil line, but a little bit is okay. Okay, so go ahead and just outline, and you can, start wherever you want. Just go ahead and outline these trees. Now this is representing kind of you, and you as a defined person, who you are becoming, who you want to be. You are choosing that. You get to draw that, create that. That's who you are. And trees, they represent, stability, growth, endurance. They live for a long time. Okay. That wisdom and strength. Make your trees and this forest represent you. And I haven't gone down all the way to the bottom of the stems because it's not quite dry there and I don't want it to bleed. So if it starts to spread a little bit, then just go ahead and wait on that. Do the part that isn't wet and isn't going to spread. So as you're outlining these trees, just think about who you are, who you want to be, who you want to become. It's your choice. If you feel like adding more little stems or branches, go ahead, it's your painting. It's representing you. Okay. This is probably like the most tedious part. It's okay. Growing, becoming, changing. That's kind of the most tedious part of life. Okay, just a couple more. Okay, so once we get these lines in here, we are going to lighten the color we have on our paper. And well, I'll show you. Hang on. Okay, so you're going to take this same color that's on your brush and you're just going to get some water and use like a blank spot somewhere in your palette and lighten that up a lot. And then you're just going to do some ghost kind of trees. There. So these trees back here are kind of like, they're going to give it dimension like there's a forest, right? So the trees up in the front, they are the ones standing out. That's what everyone sees. But behind that there's way more. Okay, so there's way more to us. There's more to our future. There's more to our past. There's more to who we are than what, you know, stands out and can be seen. So with that really light color gray, I'm just going to do some other trees back. That's not quite light enough. Back in the forest. Just to give it some dimension. So wherever you want to add some other trees with the lighter gray, go for it. Get some extra dimension. And some of these, you know, there can be like gaps. You don't have to see the whole trunk or all the branches because the leaves and things are going to cover that. This is just giving some extra depth to the forest and to who we are. You just put them anywhere you want them, anywhere that feels bare or blank or needs some extra dimension. Go ahead and put them in. Okay, all right, so this side of my forest. I like. It's good. This side should be dry, so we're going to move over here to this forest. We're going to do the little spruce trees in a little bit, so don't worry about the spruce trees. Okay, so again, get that darker color first and outline the trees that are over here. There's only a couple, and then we're going to add in a couple of like the ghost trees back there. Okay, so I feel like there's a leaf coming out that needs to be installed. That is, I am growing, I am life, I am creating, I was meant to create. Okay. Breathe that belief in, because it's true. God created us to be creators too. All that He has, all that we are, is meant to become like Him. Okay, and then we're going to do some of our really light trees behind those. Just to fill in the forest there. On that side. Okay. All right. So if you have your trees done on both sides, you're going to move on to the little spruce trees. Okay, we need a much more green, so I'm going to mix some more green in with this dark color. I still want it dark green, but I don't want it as dark of a gray green. Okay, so an evergreen. So these deciduous trees, they will die, lose their leaves. Well, they don't die, but they hibernate, right? They go into a time of, what they call it, depression, a change of seasons. But the evergreens are there, always and ever representing that constancy, consistency, strength, endurance, all through the winter of our lives, all through the winter season. Those evergreens are there, reminding us that there is life, even in that dark, cold time. Okay, so take your green and your tiny brush, and you're gonna have to film closer here, Corey, because I gotta show them the technique for doing these little spruce trees. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is a line, okay? A straight line to the evergreen, and then you're just going to kind of go on that side and then on that side, just kind of back and forth. You don't want like perfect triangles because spruce trees aren't really, perfect triangles. Okay.
Can you get even closer? Because I really can't see what she's doing.
Okay. So here, I'll do it again. Can you see now?
There we go.
Okay. Here we go. So you're just going to kind of go on one side and then on the other, but you don't want to make like a bunch of perfect triangles, right? So just, it's fine if it's a little lopsided.
I got it.
So anywhere where you want to put in some of those trees, go ahead and do that. Okay. Some are short, some are tall, you know, they start at different areas. Our minds kind of want to make everything symmetrical, but art isn't meant to be perfectly symmetrical. Our lives aren't perfectly organized and even. It's okay. You gotta like kind of force yourself to start at different points. Don't make them all evenly spaced. It looks more natural and it's gonna feel better in your painting. And then we're gonna do that same thing where we do some of the little kind of ghost trees back in the forest. So just lighten up your green and go ahead and do some of those spruce trees lighter in the background. That wasn't light enough. Just gonna get it lighter. There we go. Less detailed. They're still going to be there. Wherever you want them to be. Okay. And again, if I'm going too fast, it's okay. You can tell me to slow down or, you know, don't worry about it. You don't have to have as much as I have. Okay. Move over to the other side of the lake. There's a lot more little spruce trees on this side. So this side has a lot more of the deciduous trees. This is across the lake and it's kind of back further away. So the trees are going to be smaller and less detailed because, you know, they're farther away, so we can't see them. But there's more spruce trees on this side. So go ahead and just fill that in with trees over here too. Okay, so I'm feeling like there's a like we need a belief right now that's countering this. I guess you could call it like a worldwide uncertainty. I feel like there's a lot of feelings of like this year is going to be so different. This year's going to be stupid. This year's not going to be worth it or anything I want. We need to counter that with a belief. This is an opportunity to grow, to become, to serve and shine and help others all around us. And with God, all things are possible. I can do all things with Christ who strengtheneth me. So just kind of hold on to those emotions and beliefs as you're painting these trees. You are like these evergreen trees. For everyone else in the world who's really confused and frustrated right now, you get to be that sentinel, that hope and greenery in the dark of winter. And you can be if you choose to be, right? You don't have to give in to those feelings and emotions that, I mean, they're all around us. We can feel them from other people, but we don't have to experience them ourselves. We can recognize them, let them go, and choose something better. Okay. These little tiny ones over here, they're like way far away, so just do really tiny little strokes. You just kind of want the idea, the impression of a tree, right? Don't worry about the details on these guys. And then you're gonna do some like even a little bit darker trees in front of these. Just again to give it some more depth. So some of these trees we did, we're going to do even darker trees in front of them. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we're almost done here with the details of these trees, these darker ones. Okay, there we go. All right, so now that this side is kind of dry, we're going to take our bigger brush. We're going to take some of this green, I'm going to lighten it up. So you just want a little bit of your green. And we're just going to dab on some greenery. So you're just going to kind of like dab it all around. No particular rhyme or reason. You're just trying to get like, have it look like a bunch of bushes are growing. We have undergrowth, right? Okay, you can use a little bit of like yellow-ish green, maybe some fall colors if you want to add in like some little bits of orange or red. However you want to do it, just put in some like greenery undergrowth in the forest. Just dabbing that on wherever you feel like. That's the new life always growing up, even when we feel like maybe our tree got cut down or our life isn't going the way we expected. There's always that new life, that new undergrowth coming up around us. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just getting all that new life on trees, in the forest, even more dimension. It needs it. All the way up that sort of hill thing we've got back there. Okay. Now you want to do a little bit of that same thing in the water, and then we're going to put the reflective trees on top of that. So go ahead and dab some of your greenery in the water, but again, even lighter because this is the reflection. So you don't want a lot of color in the reflection. It's much lighter. Okay, and on the other side, same thing. And you want it just kind of like almost sponged on there, right? Like a lot of texture. It's supposed to look like a bunch of little leaves and bushes and foliage. Okay. All right. Now we are going to draw in the reflection of the trees. And I love the word reflection because it gives us that like space to step back and be like you know, non-judgmental observer of our life and what's going on in our life, without, you know, passing judgment, without blaming, just reflecting on who we are, what we've been up to, all that. So I'm not really going to bother to do those trees, the shadow trees, but I am going to use that same color for my reflective trees. Okay. So the much lighter color is going to be my trees, and they need to start on the other side of your little white strip because they wouldn't be reflecting on the beach, right? So don't make them reflect until the water. And they do not have to be identical to the trees on the other side. I mean, in real life they would be, but don't worry about it. If you can't get them exactly the same, that's okay. And they're not going to go as high either because it's a reflection. So, you know, the way that it reflects, it's just not going to cover the entire lake. Okay, just a few more of those reflections. And I've got a tall one over here. Okay, and the same thing over here. We just have a few of the deciduous trees, so you don't need a lot. And then we will do a reflection of the evergreens as well. here. All right, okay. And then again, just a lighter reflection of the evergreen trees. And you don't have to do every tree, just the ones that are darker and would stand out. But again, don't make them as dark as they are on land. All right. You can just, as you're painting these trees, take time to just, reflect, like, what do I have control of in my life? What can I do? And let go of anything else. Okay. And then on the other side, same thing. All right. A couple more trees. Just thinking about what I have control of in my life. I don't have control of when the baby comes, but I do have control of how I react and how I wait, how patiently I wait for baby to come. I don't have control of how my children act, but I have control of how I respond to them and their needs. Okay. Just a few more tree reflections here. Okay. All right, now we get to do some of the really fun stuff. So I'm going to put in a few. I need the zoom in real quick. Corey, need you to zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to take purple and just a light purple. And we're going to draw some of these like kind of ripples in the water. Just give that like the ripple effect here. Okay, because we don't want those ripples to have like in between. We don't really want the reflection in those, the reflection of the leaves and stuff. So we're just going to do a few of those, and they're going to get lighter and lighter until they're almost, you know, can't really see them. Okay, same thing on this side. A few across, getting lighter and lighter till they're pretty much gone. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to take our big brush again, and we're going to dab it in. This is the fun part. So start with your lightest color first. We're going to be dabbing on the purple leaves here, and we want to do it with a really light purple first, and then we're going to get more, you know, darker and darker, and add some like of the hot pinks and stuff. So go ahead and grab some purple. It'll be dark at first, but it's okay. Just kind of mix it in. Get some lighter wet purple there. I'm going to dab my paintbrush off, and then we're just going to take some of that. We're just going to dab all over these trees. Okay, and we're just making leaves. You see how we're doing that? With a really light purple. So it's almost just like a shadow right now. And we're going to do that on all the trees, even the shadow ghost trees. Every branch needs some foliage. Kind of light purple. And this can go pretty quick. Because it doesn't have to be, you know, real detailed or anything. It's just dabbing it on. Just first layer of the texture. Okay, so these, I feel like this kind of represents like all the little things we do every day. You don't feel like they make a big difference, like, okay, maybe this is laundry or dishes, or you know, making a comment on somebody's post, or whatever little things we do that don't feel like they're that important, but they make a really big difference if they weren't there. We have to have them. They add the texture and dimension to our lives. So it's the small and simple things that are going to make the biggest difference. Even though, you know, people aren't going to notice it as much as some of the bigger things we do, and we might not get acknowledged for it, it has to happen. And we do it whether we want to or not. So we have to do it. But some of them are, you know, more important things, like reading our scriptures. You know, maybe that's something we want to do or don't want to do, but it makes a big difference when we do it. I know when I say my morning prayers, when I do take time to connect to one of my children, it makes a big difference for them and for me. My day goes better. So these are all those little things that we're always doing. Can we add a little more here? And feel free to go in any order that you want. Just get your branches covered with this texture. Okay, and then you're gonna, once your branches are covered here, you're also going to do the same thing in the water with that light purple. But again, kind of even lighter than you did it up on the other part. Okay, now when we get in here, we're only, cameraman, I need you again. We're only gonna do the texture kind of on the ripple. You don't really want the texture to go in the middle. So you can see where the ripple line is, kind of only put your texture there. Let the rest of the tree just kind of be bare. That's fine. Only want it right directly where, like over here, there's no ripple line, that's fine. But where there is a ripple line, just put the texture on that line and not in between. Okay. And then we're gonna go to the other side and do that. And we only have a couple trees over there, but we still have to fill them in. Grab some purple. If you need more, let's fill in that other side with texture. Okay, and same thing in the reflection. Wherever there's a ripple line, just gonna go on the line, but don't go in it. So in between it, I mean. Okay, so up in the trees up here, we need to add a darker dimension now. So get your purple again. This time don't water it down so much, but you still want it watered down because it's not going to be our darkest yet. So water it down, but not as light as we had it before. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but not as much. Okay, so less of the dabbing, less of the foliage. Still kind of want to dab it on every branch, but not so extensively as the first layer. And I'm super excited to see how yours all turn out. So please post pictures or send me pictures so I can see how it turns out. Okay. And this is really, what makes up such a big part of our lives. Just all these little details that we gotta do all the time. So I want you to just breathe in. I find joy in the small things. Okay, now take that color a little bit lighter and go do your leaves in the reflection. Okay, and then move to the other side. Same thing, just to add the layer of darker. You can see how if you stopped in the middle of your painting, you just wouldn't find so much joy because it's not done. And yet when you finish, it's gonna look so cool. And it's already starting to really come together and look so much better. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is add some of the hot pink. So grab some of that magenta, and we're going to water it down some because we don't want it to be too bright, but we still want like a nice pop of magenta. Okay. All right, so just little dabs and way less. Wherever you want to put it, just put it there, but you don't have to put it like everywhere because it's just kind of to add some extra pop of color. Wherever you feel like you need that extra joy in your life, put it in there. Okay, and the same thing down in the reflection, just a little bit of the pink. And on the other side.
Hey, remember my electric universe debunked.
Sorry, that's the cameraman. Okay, almost done adding in the pink. Okay, now we get to do all really dark purple, and that's fun. So you don't want like necessarily a full force of the color, so water it down just a little. but not much because you want it to be pretty dark. Okay, so take that dark purple and just give it some extra little detail wherever you feel like you want it. This is the fun pop of color and fun stuff in our lives. Like maybe this is going on a family trip or having a picnic. Stuff we don't get to do like all the time, every day, but it brings that fun element into our lives and helps us to look forward to things and really have something to enjoy. For me, maybe this is paint night. Just relaxing and getting to do something fun like create. So wherever you want to put this little bit of happiness, spread it throughout your forest. Okay, and then we're going to do that same thing on the other side. Okay, we're just in tiny little bits of it in the reflection because we don't want it to be very dark. Okay. All right, then we're gonna do a little bit of sort of like some clouds in the sky because the sky is just sort of a wash right now, but we want to give it a little more dimension. You can see, I'm trying to hold it up. There's a little more dimension in the sky. All right, so take some pink, and you're just gonna, kind of put it in there, and then we're gonna spread that out so it looks like a cloud. Okay, same thing with some of the purples around here. You just kind of make like cloud-like shapes, and then you add water and kind of pull that up into a messy cloud. Cameraman, can you zoom in so they can see what I'm doing here? So let's take some of this gray and just kind of make, like a cloud shape. And we add water and we just kind of pull that into a cloud. And just, adding some dimension in the sky so you don't have just boring plain colors. Add some of this here. And you can put it, however you want. This doesn't look like my other painting, and that's fine because I don't feel like I'm in the same, mood and stuff as my other painting. I'm just making it however I want, giving it some beauty, painting the sky. And take a little bit of orange over here. Okay. My orange is a little dry. Whatever you want to do, give your sky some more fun and depth. Go ahead and do that. You know how you just sometimes look up at a sunset and you just know that God is good? That's kind of what you're painting right now. You're just enjoying that, recognizing, wow, look at what God does for me. All these tender mercies, this joy. I've got a little more pink over here. Okay, so now we're going to kind of reflect a little bit of that into the lake. Definitely not as defined. Okay, so, and if you feel like you want to just kind of blend it in a little, some of the lines just look too harsh or whatever, go ahead and blend those in. Okay. Let's go blending line over here. All right. So down here, I have a little bit more yellow and orange to add in, so I'm going to do that. So just a little bit of yellow. Behind the trees here. I'm mostly going to dab that off because I want it really light. And then add in a tiny bit of the orange at the top. Or the bottom. As a reflection of what's going on up here. Okay, and then I need a little bit of the purplish gray here in this area. Okay. A little bit of darker yellow here. Again, I'm just going to kind of dab that off because I don't want it too dark, but just a representation of what's going on in the sky. I'll add some pink right above the trees. And a little purple over here. And some of that darker color down here. Oops. Okay. All right, and then I'm just going to step back, and I want you to just kind of do this too. Oh, and add a little orange over here, because there's some up here. Okay, just, you know, kind of step back, take a look at what you have painted, and see how you feel about it. Don't judge it. If you love it, you love it. If you don't love it, that's okay. You created it, and oftentimes I create things and I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And other people, I love that. That's so beautiful. Don't look at all the little flaws. Look at the whole thing as a masterpiece and see this is how our lives are created every day, through small, simple things, through some big defining moments, and you know, the dark times and the negativity trying to creep in, that center of our lives being Jesus Christ and just shining out from there. And just feel that peace and happiness. Okay, now look at your painting and just say thank you. Thank you for letting me install these new beliefs and emotions, and thank you for letting me get out my creativity, and thank you for giving me an avenue to be creative and relax tonight. And I want to say thank you to you for joining me, and please post your final pictures because I want to see them. The last thing we're going to do is just outline, like take your, it should totally be dry by now, take your jar and we're just going to outline the jar itself. So if you, cameraman, want to come over here, take a black pen, it could be, you know, a Sharpie or a pen, whatever. I'm just going to outline, trace those lines that are already on there, but darker to give it some definition. And then you'll have your, you know, piece. You can keep this piece or you can toss it if you feel like, you know what, it was so negative, I want to get rid of it. That's fine. If you want to just, you know, here's all the stuff I got rid of, that's okay too. If you want to write on there, you know, like anger, anxiety, whatever, you know, you felt as you were releasing those things, you can do that too. I'm gonna keep mine. I just kind of enjoy it and I'm okay. I let them go. I don't feel like I need to crumple it up or rip it up or throw it away, but if you feel like the need to do that, that's all right. So these are the things we let go of tonight. All right, there you go. Thank you for painting with me. And I look forward to seeing your results. You can stop the recording.